Hey guys, Ponce here on the Public Test Realm, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about the proposed Renekton changes, which are currently on the Public Test Realm. Um, Now, normally I do my spiel about, this is the Public Test Realm. No, none of these changes are final until they go live. Don't freak out about it. Especially so in this case, because Riot themselves have said these changes are not like the actual changes. We're going to push out some more stuff. We're going to throw this out here and kind of work with it. So, don't freak out about it too much, and I'll do an update video on it when they actually, do the full thing. But I figured I'd talk about this now because, Riot's saying, well, what do you guys think of this? And I actually play Renekton, so, I thought I'd weigh in on the matter. The actual numbers to what they've done to Renekton's Q and E are going to be in the description below. So just click like the show more button below this video and, I'll post the exact numbers. But more or less what it is the Q has been changed so that it deals, no longer deals a whole shit ton of bonus attack damage, and deals a smaller percentage of total AD attack damage. And the same thing happened to his E, and the E now slows instead of armor shreds. So yeah, Riot's reasoning here is they're basically saying, also the Q heals for less. So basically Riot's saying, Renekton's early game is too strong and his late game is too crap. So they want to balance that out a bit. Now, as it stands, there's a bit of a problem with how they're going about this, because this only really takes into account the pure tank Renekton build, and maybe to a lesser extent the hybrid build, which is like a little bit of damage and like mostly tank. Just because of how the AD ratios work. And I'm not a huge fan of the pure tank Renekton build. The pure tank Renekton build doesn't really do anything, which is probably why, they say despite his really awesome early game and lane dominance, he doesn't have the greatest win ratio in the world. I think it's right about 50% according to the official Riot numbers, not the, the LoL Nexus or LoL King or whatever that website is that has the sketchy data. Now, perhaps there's a bit of a confirmation bias here, but I went to the thread on the most active thread on the Public Test Realm. I'll link to that as well. I'll put a thing that says, this is the thread where Riot's posting in about it. And most of the people who seem to know what they're talking about, again, confirmation bias, I suppose. I'm just agreeing with the people who agree with me. But yeah, the people who really seem to know Renekton all say the same thing. It's like the tank Renekton build is, at least from a solo queue context, is garbage. Well, it's not garbage, but it's really good early, and then you kind of reach the stage where he really, really falls off. Now, regardless of what you do with Renekton, he is always going to fall off. There's no real changing that. The problem is the tank build exacerbates this fall off kind of thing. If you build full damage and play him like a pseudo kind of assassin light, then you're always going to have at least some impact on the game. And as I was saying, the changes, that when you change things from a smaller amount, or rather a very large bonus attack damage ratio down to a smaller total AD ratio, that's based off of more his base stats and making him weaker with items. Now, I haven't done the exact math on it, but given the actual change here, I'm sure you guys will see, it's going to be a nerf if you have a lot of attack damage on Renekton. Unfortunately, with the case with Riot talking about, the percentages, win percentages, and the data they're working with, I'm going to assume, maybe it's a flawed assumption, but it seems to me like most of the data they're working with is the full tank Renekton. So hopefully what ends up happening with Renekton is that I don't mind an early game nerf. I do agree his early game is fairly absurd. I don't know if it's like absurd to the case, to a point where it's, game breakingly so. I mean, some champions just are going to be strong. But, I'm not going to argue that point too hard. I can see the case for people saying, yeah, he's too strong early, which is probably why I play him. I don't pick champions if I think they're weak, but in any aspect of the game. But to compensate, they're going to need to do a bit more for his late game, I think, and not ignore at least the sort of more offensive Renekton builds, either almost fully offensive. Why don't I go into that a bit? Like, there's two kind of variants on the Renekton build that I think are highly successful in solo queue. One is like doing something like you build Hydra, then into maybe a Black Cleaver, or some sort of bruiserish damage item, and then from there you can either keep going in damage, which is like really risky, or from those two items. You can go into tankiness, whatever situational tanky item you need, be it hit points through a Warmogs, or more likely a Randuin's Omen, or maybe even a what's that item called, Spirit Visage, if you need magic resistance, stuff like that. Alternatively, you can just do one. For example, you build one early Hydra and then go into the tanky build. It's very situational. Like, you gotta see how the game is going, how well the other lanes are doing, how tanky you need to be. But just going, straight tank Sunfire Cape right off the bat and don't build a single damage item thing, that's really what contributes, I think, a lot to this sort of notion that Renekton falls off late game. And again, he does. But building pure tank is going to make it worse. Like, if you're going to build pure tank, there's better options for it. Like, I don't know why you're picking Renekton to begin with. I guess it's so you want an easy early lane and an easy late game, in the sense that you just kind of hover and don't have to do too much. But, for example, in that thread I was talking about, read what Nerith, I believe his name was. It was like NER or something. He really seems to know what he's talking about towards the very end of the thread. I'd read his posts, like it's on page 16 and 17, I think. That guy seems to really know his Renekton. But in any case, that's all I have to say for now. When they more finalize the changes in terms of what's going on here, I will probably make a video on that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around.